Okay, it's time to jump into the actual nuts and bolts of creating this interest capturing teaser copy that we've talked about in the previous videos. So after scouring hundreds and hundreds of controls looking for the most powerful forms of teaser copy, Anthony compiled a list. And then he went on to map out formulas to create that type of teaser copy. So with these formulas, you're going to be able to rock out and master all these powerful teaser copy techniques. So the way this video is going to work is that in certain places I'm going to have you pause the video to create those specific types of teaser copy that we just covered using Anthony's formulas. And when you write this teaser copy, I want you to do it for your own promotion, for your own product, or for your own service. This way, when we're done, you're already going to have this huge index of teaser copy to not only fill out the content of your emails, but also, like we talked about in the previous video, to build those headlines, subject lines, ads, and so on. So let's get our creative juices flowing and jump right into the first teaser copy formula. And it is the how-to formula. And this is probably the most basic way to create teaser copy, and it's really used everywhere. Both from subject lines to headlines and so much more. And it works because we have this natural affinity and curiosity for how-to information. We want to know how. We want to know how to do stuff. And this curiosity is especially strong if that how-to information is tied to something that we actively want. And that's the key to making your how-to teaser very powerful. And to do this, you need to know your prospect and cater the how-to directly to them. So let me show you an example. This one's for a basketball product, for a basketball technique, and it goes how to add at least 25% more accuracy to your three-point shot in just 4 weeks using a 12-minute training technique perfected by one of the greatest shooters of all time. So I want you to envision that you're writing this email copy for a basketball player. So think hard about what you think every basketball player wants. What's their deepest desire? And you probably didn't have to think too long or too hard about this because it's really simple and it should probably just jump straight to the front of your mind. It's to score. Everyone wants to score. Every shooter, they want to step up to their shot and become that offensive weapon. So with that in mind, you can see how this example of how-to teaser copy would be powerful to that basketball prospect. Okay, so now that you've seen an example and we've covered the how-to formula, I want you to pause the video and create your own how-to teaser copy for an email promoting your specific product or service. And you can come up with how-to teaser copy for virtually any product in any industry. And I can't think of one where you wouldn't be able to, but if for some reason your specific product doesn't have the potential for a how-to piece of teaser copy, then I want you to pretend that your product is a make money type product and you can create the details, whatever details you want, and then use that product to create your how-to teaser copy using this formula to entice them. Okay, moving on. The next formula is the secret to formula. And this formula is perfect when you have a piece of information not commonly known, something that can legitimately be called a secret. Typically, the secret is centered on how your prospect will get the promised benefit. I want you to be really careful, though, not to overuse this idea. If you do, your prospect is going to become skeptical, they're going to become hesitant to believe anything. And after all, if everything in your copy is a secret, this is a secret, that's a secret formula, this, that, everything's secretive, each one becomes a little less unique and a little less enticing. So let's look at an example of secret to teaser copy. The secret to knowing anytime you're ever being bluffed by another player at the poker table works 99% of the time. Now, obviously, this piece of teaser copy is for a poker product, but can you imagine the benefit to a poker player of knowing whenever someone's bluffing them? It'd be amazing. So, with taking this piece of teaser copy, you could use this full sentence inside your actual copy. Or I think you could also visualize how this could be a powerful subject line. You'd probably want to shorten it up a little bit more. Maybe to something like the secret to knowing anytime you're ever being bluffed. You would do this so that your subject line is completely visible in someone's inbox. Let's look at another example. Um, the secret of that schoolgirl complexion revealed. This is the natural compound you must have for health, beauty, and long life. Develops that youthful beauty from within. So I want you to think about who the prospect would be from this. Obviously, it's for women. Men aren't really looking for that schoolgirl complexion. So now I want you to think of what's the biggest fear of virtually every woman on the planet. And again, you probably didn't have to think too hard. It's aging. No one wants to age, and especially women. So this teaser copy, it implies that with this product, you can have that schoolgirl complexion if you know this secret. It also says it's natural and it's not only going to make you look young, but it's going to lead to health, beauty, and long life. And this is something that women would really want to know about. Okay, it's time to pause the video. So I want you to use again your product or your service and come up with as many secret to teaser copy lines as you can and really try to create them for your actual product or service. But again, if your product doesn't allow for it, use that same imaginary money making product that I talked about in the last example. And remember, you need to save all these examples you're coming up with. Don't throw them away. Put them somewhere where you can find them, somewhere where you can come back to them, because we're definitely going to need them again later. So let's jump into the next formula, which is the negative formula. Now, this type of teaser copy, it can take on a variety of forms. Earlier, we talked about the example, what never to eat on an airplane. But notice you could use that formula for pretty much anything, like what never to wear to a black tie party, what never to eat in a Mexican restaurant, what never to say if you get pulled over for speeding. And really the possibilities are endless. Here's another type of negative teaser copy where we don't actually say what never, but it takes on that same negative formula. The number one worst food for weight loss, or the single worst mistake you can make when studying for your driver's test. So I think you get the point of where you could take this negative formula. And this formula for teaser copy, it can be applied to many, many pieces of information. And it's powerful because it alerts the reader of a possible mistake. And that taps into their fear emotion, which is one of the most powerful emotions. It also promises information that's going to protect your prospect from the mistake. And that information would be your benefit. And it also builds curiosity and intrigue because the prospect doesn't yet know the answer. So again, okay, let's pause. We've covered the negative teaser copy, so now it's time for you to come up with your own pieces of negative teaser copy for your product and service. And this is really a powerful piece or a really powerful type of teaser copy. So I want you to take your time on this one and really try to come up with a long list. Come up with as much as you can. And these ones really make compelling and powerful headlines and subject lines too. So it's going to be in your best benefit down the road to have as many of these ready to go as you can. All right, let's jump into the next formula, which is the 5W formula. This formula is ideal for using the 5 basic W's of journalism: the who, what, when, where, and why. Essentially, any one of these words will give you ideas for starting points of the teaser copy, and the rest is really up to your imagination. You just have to make sure the info that your promise presents is A, something your prospect is instantly curious to know more about, and B, directly beneficial in his life. It has to be something that's going to benefit them. If your W teaser copy isn't something your prospect wants to know about, then he's not going to open, he's not going to click, and he's just going to trash it. Your email will be a waste. So here's some examples. Why you should always work out on an empty stomach. What to say word for word if your wife asks for a divorce. When eating pizza can actually help you lose weight. Who to call if your house gets robbed. Hint, it's not the police. So are you starting to see the power of these W words when you use them as a basis for teaser copy? Each of these examples I just gave could be amazing subject lines also. They could also be headlines or starting points to create ads from. So again, it's time to pause, create your own examples of the W teaser copy, starting with that word, whichever W word you prefer, and try to do it for all of them. Try to create a good list for each of the W words. And again, use your own product or service. And if it's not going to work for your product or service, use the money making product. Um, so remember, the why has to be something that your prospect will not just want to know, but will need to know, and that's the key here. So keep that in mind as you're creating your W teaser copy. All right, the next formula is the number formula. And you're going to use this kind of copy when you can group together multiple ways of doing something, multiple secrets, or multiple insights or ways or anything interesting. That's going to make a little more sense as we work through this. But it's a great way of condensing unique information into a value added team of enticing secrets, methods, or ways of delivering a desired benefit. In fact, BuzzFeed, one of the fastest growing sites on the internet, they use this formula quite a bit. And here's some examples directly from BuzzFeed headlines. 36 reasons Wu-Tang is for the children. 10 sexually frustrating rounds of celebrity F, Marry, Kill. 9 celebrity tweets you missed today. 50 most absurd state laws. So notice how all these examples of teaser copy are made way more powerful with the addition of the number. 36 reasons Wu-Tang is for the children has way more power than just the reasons Wu-Tang is for the children. 10 sexually frustrating rounds of celebrity F, Marry, Kill. Way more powerful than just some sexually frustrating rounds of F, Marry, Kill. The numbers add a lot more power. Basically, anytime you have something interesting, some interesting item that can be grouped together, it's almost always made more intriguing when you attach a specific number to it. So let's pause, let's take a minute, and create your own number teaser copy. And when you create these, make sure that the number you use is realistic. If I said something like 101 ways to stimulate the body to produce anti-aging growth hormone, first off, to any reader, that's going to sound like a huge exaggeration. And there's no way that I can actually back up that claim. There's no way I actually have 101 ways to do that. But if we change that 101 to 4 ways to stimulate the body to produce anti-aging growth hormone, well, 4 ways becomes a little more believable and it adds that power. These 4 specific ways, you need to know these 4 ways. So keep that in mind as you're creating your own number teaser copy. The next formula is the warning formula. And this is perfect for when you want to alert your email reader of a danger ahead. You'll often see the words caution, alert, danger at the beginning instead of warning, but it's all along the same lines of the warning formula. This is particularly effective when your list responds well to the fear emotion. And there's a lot of products that the fear emotion is going to be a powerful emotion to get going in your prospect. Of course, this formula works a lot better when you give proof that you have the solution, which is going to be your benefit to the problem that you're warning your prospect about. So, for example, something like, warning, this ingredient in your protein shakes makes you fat. Beware, this is the easiest way to spot a fraudulent gold dealer. Alert, the government is planning to seize this, not guns, from you. So those are some great examples, and you can see that the line and how much it grabs your attention with that warning, with that beware, with alert. It really brings you in. And then it gives you that interesting line, that captivating line that's going to really trigger that fear emotion in your prospect. And then, of course, like we talked about, you want to have the answer. Your product should be the answer to that warning. Remember, when you use this type of teaser copy, like we talked about, you're targeting the fear emotion. You want to make someone worry that if they don't open your email or read what you have to say, they're headed towards disaster. So keeping this in mind, when you're trying to come up with warning teaser copy, sometimes it helps first to identify what disasters or crises your product or service can prevent. For example, if you're in the area of finance, some crises that you could tap into would be the market crashing, the economy collapsing, the dollar failing, specific stocks dropping. From there, it's going to be a lot easier to come up with your warning teaser copy. So again, let's pause the video and I want you to come up with some warning teaser copy for your own product or service. And again, you can use that. You can use the money making product if it doesn't fit. But really, any product out there, any service should be solving a problem, and whatever that problem is, we should be able to create some kind of warning for that problem, and then tie that into our product being the solution. So go ahead and put together some warning teaser copy, and then we'll jump into the next formula, which is the quotation formula. In the quotation formula, you're going to carefully extract an idea from information that you're going to tease. Then you're going to take that idea and put quotes around it. For example, say you're selling a marketing course and you say, the simple double down AdWords that gives twice as much traffic for half the price. The simple double down AdWords strategy that gives you twice as much traffic for half the price. What jumps out at you there? Well, that's stuff in quotations. So here's another example. This amazing tongue stretcher technique that makes her come in minutes and makes you the best oral lover she's ever had by far. So you can see by how adding those quotations makes it appear that you have something special, the double down AdWords strategy. Well, you may be inventing that, the double down, but it sounds interesting, it sounds intriguing to your prospect. And this formula works effectively because it often combines a benefit with some specificity. So intrigue, curiosity as well, and it delivers a precise mechanism for achieving the benefit. And it's pretty amazing because it does all this often in just one simple line. So again, the quotation formula, it's pretty powerful. Specificity, intrigue, curiosity, delivering a precise mechanism for achieving the benefit that your product and service will give to your prospect. Okay, so pause the video, come up with some quotation teaser copy for your product or service. To get started, it might help to think of your primary benefits. What's the primary benefits of your product or service? And then come up with a catchy name or quote for reaching that benefit. For example, for like a diet and exercise program, weight loss would be a huge benefit. And maybe your diet and exercise program, maybe it achieves weight loss by counting calories. Well, everyone's heard of calorie counting, right? We've probably all done it. If we haven't done it, we've definitely heard of it as a way to lose weight. But if you could create a gimmick for that, then you could really build intrigue. So what if I said, watch the pounds melt away with my metabolic tracking trick? Well, no one's ever heard of the metabolic tracking trick because I just made it up. And it's really the same thing as calorie counting, but I gave it a new name, I put it in quotations, and so it really gives new meaning and new power to this old calorie counting technique. And now it's the metabolic tracking trick. People haven't heard of it, they're going to want to know what it is, they're curious. It really gives that spin to give it new life and build interest. So try to come up with some of your own for your own product or service. The next formula is the strong question formula. Now, this formula is going to hook your email reader by leading with an intriguing question of importance. So again, an intriguing question that's important to your prospect. And just like many of the other formulas, what follows has to offer the desired solution either within the running text of your email or within the page that you're going to send them to. So either you have to answer this question either in your email or let them know that the answer is in this page that you're sending them to. For example, so if they click the link in your email, it's going to take them to a page, a sales page, where this question is going to be answered. And of course, you always want to mix in credibility, benefit, intrigue, and curiosity. So here's some examples. Did you know that most people quit their diet on day 9? Do you ever wish you hadn't gotten married? How are you going to pay $200,000 for your child's college? Now, all these work because they're important questions. Of course, they might not all be important to you, but try to think of the importance to the prospect that would be interested in this kind of stuff. And they all imply an answer that the reader wants. So you could use them in your subject line as well as at the beginning of your email. So let's pause and let's try to think of some interesting points about your product or your message and create your questions around those points. Remember, you want a question that'll pique interest and make your prospect think, I really want to know the answer to that. After you pique the interest, the second part of the teaser will tell your reader how to find the answer that you've made them curious about with your question. So let's pause the video and come up with your own specific question teaser copy for your product or service. The next formula is the if-then formula. The if-then formula, it works because it first engages your prospect by inviting them to meet a simple requirement. It can also ask him if he's in a specific group or if he's experiencing some kind of symptom. If you know your prospect and selected the perfect requirement that you know will include them, it's going to quickly grab their attention. The next part of the formula is the then, and the then is the benefit or builds into the benefit. So this is going to make a lot more sense when you see these examples. If you're over 50 and more than 15 pounds overweight, then too much of this nutrient could kill you. So we know our prospect and we're targeting this to people who are over 50 and are overweight. And 15 pounds overweight, that's a number that 15 pounds is kind of like a good limbo number. If you're under that 15 pounds, you might not consider yourself overweight. So if you are overweight, you're probably over 15 pounds overweight. So notice how we use that line to get our prospect engaged. If you're over 50 and more than 15 pounds overweight, well, we know our prospect is because that's who we're targeting. So immediately they're drawn to this because they're included in this group. Then we get into the then aspect. Then too much of this nutrient could kill you. Well, I'm 50 years old and I'm over 15 pounds overweight. What nutrient could kill me? Am I taking too much of this nutrient? What is this nutrient? You can see how the then is going to build that intrigue, that curiosity. And this specific one is, again, getting into their fear emotion. So another example, if you're ready to make 6 figures as a marketing consultant, and then you would go into your then, whatever your product is, then you need to know blah, blah, blah trick, or whatever your then would be. But if you have a biz op product related to making money, this could be a powerful if statement for you. The next one, if you've ever been put into the friend zone, then this will change your life. So who hasn't been put into the friend zone? And but more specifically, this one is probably going to work best for like some kind of pickup artist product, some way a how to pick up women product, because usually a lot of times the guys that are looking at that, they're considered the friend. They might know a lot of women, but they always get put into that friend zone. So again, we're making sure that our if statement includes our prospect, and then we give them a then statement that's going to make them curious about what our product is. If you've ever been put into the friend zone, then this will change your life. Well, what is it? So to reiterate, the important thing with this formula is to create an if statement that your prospect will fall under and also capture their interest. If your if statement doesn't create intrigue, then your prospect's going to skip the then part of the bullet. So if you're struggling to come up with an if then piece of teaser copy, try starting with the then part of the formula. And this could be a benefit or an interesting fact or feature about your product or service. Once you have the then, it's going to be a lot easier to come up with an interesting if statement to lead into the then. Okay, so it's time to pause again and create your own if-then pieces of teaser copy for your emails related to your own product or service. And let's see, the next formula is the EST, the EST formula. And I call this the EST because we're naturally drawn to extremes. And if you don't understand what EST is right now, you'll understand in just a second. So I call this the EST because we're naturally drawn to extremes, and we want the easy EST, the fast EST, the high EST, while avoiding the ugly EST, the fat EST. And you get the point, and that's why it's called the EST formula. So here we're going to offer to reveal one extreme or the other. Again, it's human nature to want to get something easier, faster, and with less effort, especially in today's instant gratification driven society. And you can make this teaser copy work very simply, or you can pile on additional possibilities, combining in other formulas that we've already talked about. That'll give that wonderful little 1-2 punch. So here's some examples. The easiest way to make $900,000 in 60 days. The fastest way to shed 5 inches around your waist. By far the ugliest dating site for women I've ever seen. So this formula is pretty straightforward, but if you can think of things about your product that really are quicker and easier, or any type of extreme, then you're already well on your way. Because when the answer is revealed, one of the most powerful things with these EST statements is you're setting them up with the fastest way to shed 5 inches around your waist, right? So they're immediately drawn to that. Whoa, what's the fastest way to do that? I wanna shed 5 inches around my waist. What's the fastest way? And then if your product really can do that, if you really can deliver that, when you actually give them the answer, when you actually show them what the fastest way to do it is, they're going to have that aha moment. And pretty much if you can get your prospect to read your copy and think to themselves, aha, that's how you do it, then they're pretty much already sold, and you pretty much already have the sale. So let's pause the video and create your EST teaser copy. Okay, the final formula is the truth about formula. And you want to use this one when you want to help your prospect put a controversial or debatable issue to rest. And you're going to want to select pieces of information that appear conflicting or confusing to him. Then offer him a clear solution in the form of the truth about. People are instantly attracted to controversy or a commonly held belief getting demystified. So here's some examples of how you could use the truth about formula. We would set up the truth about gold prices, and then you would go on, just talk about what that truth would be. The truth about abs. The truth about how Facebook makes money. So you can also see with these, I kind of leave it open-ended here, but you could see how you could lead into, build off of these. But I also want you to see how these would make a powerful subject line or headline. The truth about gold prices. And you could just leave it at that, right? And that would be a powerful headline to someone who's interested about gold or in the gold business. The truth about abs. Well, someone who's trying to lose weight, someone who's trying to get those 6-packs of abs. That's going to be a pretty powerful headline for them to see, or a pretty powerful subject line for them to see pop up in their inbox. So think about if there's any controversial or debatable issues involved in your product, service, or in that field. And if so, then this formula is absolutely perfect to use. And what's great about using it in your subject lines is that you can say a lot in a very little space. Everyone wants the truth, and even if they can't handle the truth. So the truth about gold prices, they want to know the truth, but it also gets their mind spinning. What's the truth? Is our prices going down? Our prices going to go up? Is the gold market crashing? Am I paying too much for gold? Am I paying too little? Am I getting a good deal? All those things, just from those 5 words, are going to start spinning through your prospect's head, and that's going to lead to them clicking and reading and hopefully taking action. So this is the last formula. So when the video ends, I want you to create your own truth about teaser. Um, and you can also take some time to come up with any other teaser copy examples that you can think of, even if it's just to practice. So before starting the next video in this module, um, you should have at least completed several examples of teaser copy for each of the formulas that we just covered. And the more the better. I'm telling you, if you have pages and pages of this stuff, it's only going to make the entire process that much easier when we actually get into creating the email. You're going to have so much more information to pull from, so many more options for headlines, so many more options for subject lines. You're going to have the perfect starts to AdWords campaigns, to other ads, to banner ads. Um, and also in the next video, you're going to learn how to take this teaser copy that you just created, and even if you think it flat out stinks right now, even if you're like, this is an okay truth about formula, this is an okay S formula, this is an okay warning formula, well, don't worry. Even if you think it's terrible, just keep going with them. Keep going with them, because in the next video, we're going to take that teaser copy and I'm going to show you how to transform it into the most powerful piece of teaser copy you can imagine. So that's all going to be in the next video. So once you have your examples for all the formulas, then jump straight into that next video.